Good evening, Jeremy Fernandez with ABC News. New South Wales Legal Aid has cut funding for child sex abuse victims. They're expecting an influx of compensation applications to flow from the Royal Commission into abuse and says it can't afford them. Advocacy groups are outraged and there's growing concern agencies in other states and territories will follow suit.
Dr Kathy Kesselman is a survivor of abuse and says the decision by Legal Aid not to represent victims is a bad one.
These changes are going to impact people profoundly because many people in this group are the most disadvantaged in our society.
Expecting a flood of compensation cases from the Royal Commission, New South Wales Legal Aid pulled the pin on funding, saying it won't allocate money for people abused in institutions. These matters have the potential to be expensive, with a disproportionate impact on the limited civil law budget. Legal Aid New South Wales has therefore decided that funds are not available in such matters until further notice. It's another blow for survivors. The state government's changes to the Victims' Compensation Scheme mean many are already excluded. But the Premier says it's counselling they need, and that's what his government's investing in.
Legal Aid, as it has in the past, has to make decisions on the basis of how it allocates scarce resources, and that's something that it will do.
The Greens MP David Shoebridge says this sets a dangerous precedent and a national approach is needed.
What Legal Aid have said is they expect a whole lot of people to come forward with legitimate, viable claims, and because of that, they're going to fund none of them. It's some of the most twisted logic I've seen.
The federal government says there's money in the budget to address this, with $62 million over 3 years for legal support.
We made some resources available, as we did the Royal Commission, for support services and assistance for people. We'll be happy to get you the details of that.
But much of that money is for a national legal advisory service. And advocacy groups are concerned it won't provide victims of child sexual abuse with the representation they need. Letitia Lemke, ABC News, Sydney.